very special guest. One of those guests I can't believe said, "Sure, I'll come on the show." Thank him so much. Just a couple of quick little local announcements here. The open mic thing, which I love open mics. So I like hosting them. I like going to them. So here's the list. Monday nights, Bourbon Barrel Tavern in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, 7 p.m. to, it says question mark. Our Lady of Perpetual Hops in New Albany, Indiana has started theirs back up on Tuesday nights. This hasn't gone on since pre-pandemic, and it's a really cool one. I used to go there on Tuesday nights sometimes. From, you know what? I think it's 7, but there's no time listed. Also Tuesdays at Boomba's in the Highlands, Louisville. My friend Mark Conover hosting that, 7 to 10. Floyd Brewing Company in New Albany, Indiana on Wednesday nights, was just the one I've been going to quite often. Maybe I might go there later on tonight since I don't have to work tomorrow now. From 7 to 10. The Oreos Pizza in the Highlands, Louisville, Wednesday nights, 8 to 10. Golden Nugget, Wednesday nights, Louisville, 7 to 11. Flanagan's Ale House in the Highlands on Thursday nights from 8 to 10. And that's your open mic list for the local open mics. I'm gonna bring Kinney right on. Go Kinney, damn it, Kevn Kinney from Drivin and Cryin, a few other projects, and I'm really excited to talk to him. So we're even though I just said the wrong damn name. Okay, I just embarrassed myself in front of my.
There's Kevn. There you go. This collection of my picks. There's one. See, I don't have one on that one. Here's another one.
I said Kinney.
That's what they call me at the golf course. They call me Kenny. And my friend JB, the barbecue man in Athens. There you go. He calls me Calvin Kennedy. And I never correct him. 20 years he's been calling me Calvin Kennedy. I've just been like, "Hey JB, Calvin Kennedy."
I get Ryan a lot. I don't know how Rob, maybe because it's Rob Lyon, but I get Ryan a whole lot.
Oh really? Well, people wire their brains, I guess.
Well, I can't. I'm scared to ask you my normal questions because you're not just one of the locals or local from somewhere.
Well, I love your open mic list. That's really great. I started off doing open mics. My first thing in Atlanta was I did open mic nights. I did a song called "Gotta Get Out of Here." And that was my song. I played it in every open mic I could possibly get into. Jimmy the Greek's restaurant, Baker Street on Roswell Road. I mean, that's I love the open mic nights, man.
Does Smiths have a nice one?
What's that?
Smiths?
I'm sure they did. I don't know. I don't know if they had one or not.
Oh.
I know that they had one in I used to go to one in Athens. They had songwriter night in Athens that I kind of liked. I lived in Athens like from 91 to 98 or 99, something like that. But yeah, once we went, me and Edwin McCain and Gib Joel went to songwriter night. And we signed up. We signed up, and we're like waiting to play. And then there's one guy who signed up after us. He goes, "Hey man, do you mind if I play in front of you guys?" I was like, "Yeah, man, absolutely, not a problem." And then he gets up there. And he does like "A Day in a Life" by John Lennon. I'm like, "Yeah, song. Did you write that?" Wow, I've heard that song. Did you write that? So anyway, that was funny. But what did you ask me?
Smith's Old Town Bar.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I'm sure they do. Everyone, Eddie's Attic, everybody has one. I'm sure everybody has one. But I like going to open mic night. That's how you find some good. That's how you steal musicians. Good place to steal a bass player or a drummer or whatever.
This is very true because I'm always the only bass player.
Yeah.
That's why I'm a work off and on in like 14 different projects.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
Tomorrow
you're in Kentucky?
Yeah. I'm on the Indiana side, I guess. I'm right across the river from Louisville. I'm 13 minutes from downtown.
From downtown Indianapolis or
no, Louisville.
Oh, okay.
Louisville, yeah. I'm closer to all the cool stuff in Louisville than people that live in Louisville are.
I'm sure, yeah. Yeah, I had to go to a CVS across the river from Louisville once
Oh
in
yeah,
Indiana.
you probably went right over here from me.
Probably, I did.
we well, I'll
Well,
start
go
with
ahead
it.
and ask me the questions you normally ask other people. Just don't ask me where the name Drivin Cryin came from. It came from
All
a
right,
song.
all right. That wasn't on the list.
Okay, good. Because I don't really remember because it was a long time ago.
If
Okay.
you could narrow down an influence, like somebody you saw on stage or even on TV or whatever, you saw that guy, this person, and said, and it can be more than one. You say, I want to do that. Who would you say that would be?
Well, I mean, the Rolling Stones early on, Get Your Yayas Out was one of my favorite records. Robin Trower, all those. I mean, I saw a lot of people before I would even play guitar, but I think when I saw the Ramones and I saw Bruce Springsteen, I think those were my two people that I thought like, you know, uh, I think I could do this. I think I can do that. I think I didn't feel like I had to be this genius guitar player or like I didn't have to be Jimmy Page, and I just had to be real. And those guys were the realest. I mean, it was like I was late 70s, mid 70s, 76, 77. I was 15, the right rock and roll age, 16 years old. And then when I saw the Ramones at Summerfest in Milwaukee, and I saw Springsteen in the fall, and I thought, okay, and Patti Smith too. And I think those were the people that I was really, really thought that I could maybe do this. And then and then punk rock came through. So I saw Elvis Costello and Grant Parker and I think Thin Lizzy still has a big influence on me because I went and saw Thin Lizzy in Milwaukee. It was like, um, one of those like 7 degree days, and not that many people showed up at the show, and it was really cool because they kind of came out with the big Thin Lizzy lighted thing that's a Thin Lizzy, and they were like rocking out, and then like they noticed like it was only like less than a quarter full in this theater. So they just kind of turned into a bar band and they kind of adjusted and they made it a lot of fun. Like everybody just come up to the front and then what do you want to hear? And so it was kind of how they called, like I do with Drivin Cryin, like every show now is like everything's an audible, I don't have a set anything. Like I don't really know I know what the first intro, we always have the same intro song, but I never know where I'm going to go after that until I look at the audience and I think, well, these guys need to hear this, or they're kind of grooving on that, or this might. I don't think anybody here knows who we are, or maybe So I try to adjust the show. I mean, that's the hard part about being a musician in this band is that you have to know 150 songs, and you have to be ready to play them in 3 notes.
Yep.
So, it's I'm selfish and they're selfless. They're like, okay, we're going with it. And if they don't get it right away, if one verse goes by and then we kick in on the chorus, that's cool. I mean, it's all audible. It's all different. Every night is totally different. The song Fly Me Courageous could be 4 or 5 different ways. Honeysuckle Blue can be 4 or 5 different ways. Everything can be pushed and pulled and compressed and turned upside down, turned into acoustic with electric at the end, or so. I mean, that's the fun about being in the band is that it's improv, a lot. But you can only do that if you don't get mad that it doesn't work. Like if you're gonna be a musician that gets mad that like, oh I'm so embarrassed and this is terrible. Just let it go, man. Let it go. Next song's gonna be really great. Laugh at yourself and go, oh, thought I could do that one better, but well, come see us next time, or you know what I mean? So it's kind of, it's about being having fun.
Yep.
I mean, you gotta remember what it's like. I just saw the Beatles documentary Get Back Again, and it's just that whoever put that movie out to start with is can you swear on this show? I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whoever directed it, whoever distributed it the first time did the Beatles a huge disservice, because the rest of that footage shows them being really fun, and of course there's band struggles, but every band, no more than every band I've ever witnessed or been in or been close to, has disagreements and things. But it was really a great way they walk into a studio in the 2nd of January, and by the end of January they have 14 songs that are like classics: Long and Winding Road, Get Back, Let It Be, For You. I mean, it's just incredible. It's inspiring though. So what I'm saying is that I'm still inspired by things that are happening. I'm still looking forward to doing things, constantly, because I saw, my son turned me on to a band called the Spits the other day. They've been around since the early 2000s. They're from Kalamazoo, Michigan, moved to Seattle, and I enjoyed listening. They were like a kind of a Ramones. So I'm still always really excited about listening to new stuff.
Cool. Do you
was there a question in there? I told you to watch out. I just start talking.
No, I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you go on, man.
Okay, cool.
I'm serious. Like sometimes it's hard to reel the guest in.
Right. Well, I'll check myself every so often.
Do you typically write the songs, or is it collaboration, or?
Yeah, I write the songs. Band arranges them. Their parts. But yeah, all the lyrics are mine usually, and the essence of the song is mine of a lot of our songs. But I was really hoping to have I challenged them after the last record to make the next record. I would love to have Tim sing lead on at least 2 songs, and maybe Dave sing lead on a couple songs or some melodies, and have Lauer do maybe an instrumental, or write something where Tim sings it or something. I think people would like a Drivin' Cryin record that was a little wasn't just me. I'm getting tired of just being me. It's a lot of me.
Yeah.
And my wife usually asks me, like, how are you doing? How was the road? Or how was your weekend? I'm like, I'm sick of myself. I'll go to bed. I don't want to talk about myself. I will look at myself. I don't want to hear myself. But that lasts about a day.
Do you have a particular creative process? Or does it just tap you on the shoulder?
Well, I write melodies. Like, I'm working on a melody right now. I'll play this melody I got, and I don't know where it's going, but it's like. If I had but a dream, and I lost myself indeed, where do you go? And now it's time to know. So that's kind of like that. And then I have a little chorus that's like, it's just a part of love. It's on account of your dream. It was a part of your soul. So I have like that, and so I've been working on that for like 5 months. I've been playing that melody, and I don't know. I'm just waiting for the right words to come along, and I'll fill it in. But I have the basic essence of the song and a little bridge for it. I just let it. I try not to push. Some things I can write in an hour. I just wrote a song called "Bottom of the Ninth" the other day. That you want to hear a little bit of it?
Sure.
Okay. So like I wrote this. This one I wrote in like an hour because I was gonna do a radio show about the Atlanta Braves. So it's like I remember Grandpa Voss with his transistor radio, an earphone on the porch. The Braves are down 3-1, After Stan the man hit a double, brought in another run. What a relief. We closed him out with a pop fly to the shortstop after a visit to the mound. In the bottom of the ninth, there's still hope. You get a man on base and another at the plate, trying to get home in the bottom of the ninth. You gotta believe in all the starters out. You're all part of the team in the bottom of the ninth. So that's one that I didn't spend any time at all working on.
I thought that was great.
Yeah. Straight to Hell was kind of like that. We're just kind of like, well.
I love Straight to Hell.
Yeah, that was around for a little while, but then once I wrote the lyrics down, this producer we had, Scott McPherson, said, you know what, man, you should write lyrics to that are, because it was kind of about like waking up and kicking the dog out of bed and being hungover and struggling to find your cigarettes. It was all kind of like, and the guy's just looking in the mirror like, I'm going straight to hell. Just like, he's like looking in the mirror like, oh God. And so that's kind of how the first version of it was. And then the second version, the guy was like, he's like, you should make this into more of a story or something. So I wrote it about like Romeo and Juliet, like a modern Romeo and Juliet, which is kind of where it wound up being. But I like the first one actually kind of, so. But yeah, it turned into a love song, and I'm glad I changed it, I guess. I don't know.
I sit there thinking, driving on a forklift today at work, like, what song am I going to ask him about? Am I going to ask about the Innocents? Am I going to ask about Honeysuckle Blue, or am I going to ask about Straight to Hell? And I struggle with because like usually I have one song picked out per guest. And I was like,
right. Yeah. Well, Straight to Hell has been a real blessing, and I discounted it for a while and tried to not do it for a while, and I think that was a mistake, and the crowd didn't like it when I would do shows where I wouldn't play it. And I just kind of resigned myself to, like, how lucky am I? What am I doing? Because like you do a forklift, I used to drive a, front loader, I used to build sewage plants. I'm a form carpenter by trade, and I was, up, if I got to work before the sun came up, I was in trouble, after the sun came up, I was in trouble, so, I spent a few years, soaking wet and hot and cold. And so, and then I think to myself, really, you're going to bitch about singing a 5-minute song? You're a total waste. Put on your big boy pants, you lazy bastard. So.
I totally understand. There's songs of mine that I don't want to play anymore, but I've got to, for people who do listen to my, it's like,
yeah, if somebody likes it, I'll play it. I can't. There's definitely a constraint. I can't play 160 songs in a night, obviously. So
right.
Do like, I can only do 20 at the most. So, and some of those are spoken for, but we definitely part of listening to the audience and not making a strict set list is it comes in handy when you overhear a conversation like in the audience the other night. In between songs, I heard some guy say to his friend, I wish he played Friend Song. He should play Friend Song. I wish he played Friend Song. And then I started the Friend Song. And he was like, dude, seriously. It's not on TV. I can hear you, I can hear what you're saying out there. I also heard somebody say, he sings good, but the band sucks. I heard somebody say that. I was like, really offended. It's like, usually it's the other way around.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But most of the time I've heard at my life, always the band sounded good, but the singer sucked.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I've heard that, so I was kind of like a little proud, but then I was like, I'm in the band too, so that kind of stuff, that kind of hurt. It's kind of hurtful. Hurtful.
I was digging around through your older stuff while I was preparing for this show. There was I was on YouTube, and there was a song called Powerhouse.
Sure.
I really liked a lot. But one of the comments said, it really kind of, what? Said, they used to be a folk band. but then grunge happened or something, something to that effect. I was like,
Right.
I've never known them. I've never heard. Is there any truth to that?
No, not at all.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
No, we were the opposite. We were more like psychedelic feedback band. Before we made the first record, we were a little more like I spent half the show on my knees in front of my amp with feedback. We used there was a lot of bands like there's a band called the Bad Brains and the Replacements. People they had like rock shows, and then they would have like the folk thing, and the Bad Brains would be like heavy metal and then reggae in the middle. So I was like, okay, well I don't feel like I can do like bluegrass in the middle. So we did have folk songs, but Powerhouse was always early on. That was very early song, yeah. Scar But Smarter. Most of that Saddle on the Side of the Road, most of that first record was pretty, everything that you hear on it was a lot more aggressive live. But we were young. We were in 1986. I was like 25. Which is old. For like the Beatles when they were 28, they were breaking up. But but yeah, that is not true. About we were never really a folk band, but we had always had folk songs. But that was the point of the word psychedelia, is we wanted to be psychedelic, but I didn't want to just be like sound like a psychedelic band would sound like. Oh, you got sitars and you got some funny vibe. I wanted to be truly psychedelic and mess with people's heads and be like, well, why do I like Catch the Wind and You Mean Everything next to some other hard rock song, or Straight to Hell is next to Fly Me Courageous. I mean, there's two hits that are totally different. If you played like, here's this band Drivin, I'm gonna play two of their songs, and you played Straight to Hell and then you played Fly Me, we were like, pick it. What's wrong? Is that the same band, or what is all that about? Right, Mr. Rogers?
There's no person in the whole world like you, and I like you just the way you are.
Well, thank you, Mr. Rogers. I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Fred Rogers, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, you brought up something that reminded me of a concert I saw in here while we used to, like, there's no set list or anything. When I saw Dan Baird and Homemade Sin,
man,
and it was right before, like it was right down the street too. I was so tired, I almost didn't go, but I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I did, man. It's because like the next week he announced he was retiring. Like I just called it, and like he just kind of calls out the songs.
Absolutely.
The band didn't know what he was about to say.
Well, he's one of my heroes,
Mine too, man.
He their last tour of Europe, they took Drivin, Cryin, and we opened for them in all the little bars and theaters and pubs in England, and it was really great. But yeah, they're a great Warner Hodges and Dan Baird together, man. That was like a dream team.
God, he is amazing.
Warner has a new project out with I
think it's his son.
Jeff Johnson.
Oh.
We might have some with his son, but he has some with Jeff Johnson from the original bass player of the Scorchers.
Yeah.
And Warner just made an album. And I don't know if they made it at Dan Baird's house or where they made it at, but check it out online.
Yeah, you got to play. You've gotten to play with Warner, haven't you?
Yeah, Warner. Well, Warner was in Drivin, Cryin for about a little over a year. He was a guitar player,
so amazing, man.
The most encouraging, positive. He's such a great guitar player, and he's so funny, and he's so encouraging. And me and Tim used to drive up to Nashville when we were first starting and go see the Scorchers. Like we would drive 5 hours just to go see them play, and we were huge Scorcher fans, They were punk, man. They had a punk band. They were loud as hell.
Yep. I've never gotten to see the score. I've seen Jason Ringenberg.
Yeah.
I've seen him at his house. I watched him play at his house.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You went to his farm, or you were down in Nashville?
No, with the farm there in Dixon.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you know you were coming, or were you just
Yeah.
were you just sitting out the kitchen window? Or?
No, it was a party.
Okay.
A party he had. Well, he's been on the show too.
That's what he said.
He's super nice, man. He's
a gentleman.
Yeah, and
He's a gentleman.
I turned around and freaking Victor Wooten was sitting behind me. Now I'm a bass player.
Oh, really?
And I'm trying not to be too obvious. I'm like, and I'm
really?
like, that's a Victor Wooten. I've got
in Dixon,
yeah,
Illinois.
No,
or Dixon, Tennessee.
It's in Tennessee. Yeah.
Wow.
Chuck, I think what's his name? Chuck Gee.
Chuck Mead, sure.
Chuck Mead, yeah, he was there.
Oh, he's great. Me and Chuck Mead actually wrote a record together. We're going to be putting out. I hope this next year. We wrote a record together. We wrote all the songs together at Todd Snyder's house with Aaron Lee Tashin and all these other people. But we wrote them together, and we recorded them together, and we do vocals together on the whole record. It's kind of like Rock Pile, and that's going to come out next year. It's really I have to learn the songs, but there's some real gems on there.
Was Tommy Walbeck there?
I don't think no, I don't think so.
You know what I'm talking
Tommy
about?
Was there. It was Chuck Mead's band, and I know Oddly Freed plays guitar on it. I don't think Tommy was there. No.
You know him?
I've seen him play. He has a great. I saw him play at the Basement East with like a was it a Cheap Trick cover band or something? I don't remember what it was. It was a cover. It was some sort of tribute fun thing they were doing. Oh, it was The Clash.
Oh,
did you ever see the Clash band he's in?
No.
It was really. I think that was his band. It was really great.
I've only seen just the very last song of a government cheese show when I was really young.
Yeah,
really young.
Yeah, I remember seeing them. I think I saw them play in Lexington. Were they from Lexington or
Bowling Green?
Knoxville?
They're from Bowling Green.
Oh, Bowling Green. Okay, yeah.
He's actually from not far where I'm from. Tommy is. He's from the next county over. Both counties are places that nobody in the world's ever heard of except for people from those counties.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's okay. America's full of those counties.
It's true. Very true.
I'm from Wisconsin. Trust me, I'm from a lot of counties. Even people in Wisconsin I've never heard of.
Well, people in Kentucky never heard of Webster County. So. It was a dry county until 2 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now it's a moist county.
Well, Athens, Georgia was dry on Sundays, like even in bars.
Yeah.
Up until 3 years ago, you could not get a drink on a Sunday. Yeah.
Well, Indiana was dry on Sundays except for bars until 2 years ago, something like that. It hasn't been very long.
Right.
But now liquor stores can be open on Sundays.
Yeah.
Not for very long. It's not only like it's a real small window.
As someone who has been how do you say this? A mate of somebody in the early 80s or mid 80s. But anyway, when you're dating or married to somebody who's an alcoholic, I loved it when Sundays weren't like, forgot to buy wine on Saturday. It's like, okay. Oh well.
Yep.
I look forward to Sundays because I could get a freaking break. If you've ever been a husband or wife of an alcoholic, it's not fun.
Right. But would you say, could you narrow down your favorite show?
My favorite show that I've ever played live?
Yeah. You've done so many.
I think opening for Cheap Trick at the Naval Academy, the graduation. everybody. It was an arena full of dressed white naval uh, graduates, and just it was at the Naval Academy in Maryland, I think, and it was this arena full of this all dressed. The whole arena was white. It was so cool, and we were opening for Cheap Trick, and we got to meet the admirals and things like that. It was really a great. I loved that show because I love Cheap Trick. So it was a fun show. We played good. It was a cool environment. And when I think about shows, I remember that. I remember opening for REM. Those were some of my favorite shows. And opening for the Who was cool. And Neil Young.
Wow.
We opened for Neil Young and the Who. Yeah, we opened for the Who from Montreal to Miami. That was really great. To watch them, it was just for Quadrophenia. So they were just doing Quadrophenia every night. So it was amazing. I got a picture of us and John Entwistle on my mantelpiece downstairs that my dog got ripped in half. I was like, no. So it's taped together now. But it just looks like Tim and Jeff and John Entwistle like ripped me out of the picture. So it's kind of funny. It's kind of art now, so now I'm thinking about framing it with like the little broken piece, But yeah, I mean, but in all honesty, every show I tell my band, and every show I do is my first. Every show is my last. I'm nervous going on stage. I don't want to go on stage. It's the last place. I'm thinking to myself 10 minutes before I go on, like, this is the last place in the world I want to be. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to go do this. This is insane. And then once I start, I'm in. I'm good. But I have those first show jitters, and then when I'm done, I feel very satisfied, and I feel like if that's the last, I don't try to. I think I accomplish every show. When I go backstage, I'm like, okay, if that's the last show I ever do, that's okay. I think that's good. I think I did good. I think we had some, I mean, even like our last show we did a song called Hail to the Paperboy, something we haven't done in like 30 years or more. And we just have fun, especially at this. I wish I was this good in 1988. I'm better than I am. I wish I was this together and I wasn't ambitious and competitive and jealous and worried about the Joneses. And I wish I could have just been me back in 1988. I would have had a lot happier last 30 years, because the last 15 years, I've just really been enjoying we're just me. We're just who we are, take it or leave it. I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to open for anybody anymore. I'm not trying to impress anybody or be in Rolling Stone or I don't. It's not why I'm doing this anymore. I'm more just happy to be here, happy to be still, creating things, little soundscapes and landscapes and dreamscapes. That's what it is. But yeah, I mean, every musician should play every show like it's their first show and it's their last show. Like leave the stage thinking like, that's okay, man. If I don't do any more shows, that I'd be happy with that.
That's very sound advice too. Man,
never argue about the show when it's over. Like if you fuck up or you mess up, if your drummer messes up or your guitar, don't take it backstage. Just be like, oh man, we screwed that up. It was a disaster. It's like, yep. Oh well.
Yep.
If you make it look uncomfortable on stage, the audience will know that it looks.
Mm-hmm.
If you screw up, look at an audience room and go. And they're you got them. They're like, yeah, whatever. I get it.
Well, I guess
it's not the kind of advice I want from my accountant.
Right.
But a rock band,
I guess I'll skip the counter question. Which would be your least favorite performance?
Well, my least favorite performance is anything having to do with a corporation at a stage. You know, I've done some things. I've done a few things like, you know, the Final Four, you know, luncheon. It's just miserable. No one cares that you're there. No one's. It's just miserable.
That's all my gigs.
I can't wait to get off stage. You know that, and so I try to, but you know, maybe I'll play a lot more acoustic, or I'll try to, you know, I'll have fun at it, you know, but it's a lot of work. I mean, those things are a lot of work, you know. You know, yeah. I mean, yeah, like anybody who's private shows, anybody who's paid us, and in a moment of weakness, I said yes because I was like, oh my god, that's a lot of money. And then I do it, and I'm like, I'm always regretting it. Like, oh, this is not worth it. So, but once again, things that you know, I wasn't thinking about when I was building sewage plants, and you weren't thinking about on a forklift, you know, whatever.
Right. What did you? So, are you painting now, or you drawing?
I'm always painting something. Yeah, I mean, I did a lot of it in the pandemic. I did a lot of paintings, and yeah, I don't have anything I'm really working on now. Hey, Gertie, you got my Gertie girl here. Yeah, I'm toying with stuff. I'm trying to learn, trying to be better at it, or just give up. They're not called paintings. They're called Kevin Kinney's Glorified Fever Dream Autograph Series in A minor.
And you just
So what they are is amazing. I'll brag a little bit. They're some of the best autographs you're ever going to get. Some of the worst paintings you'll ever own. But as far as autographs go, they're amazing. They're in color. They always incorporate some sort of song. So they're for fans, you know. I probably will do another dozen, and then I'll probably be done. I'll get sick of it, and I'll be done. So I don't know.
Didn't you just display something in a gallery?
I just did a whole show at a gallery. Yeah, I did like 12 paintings, I think, something like that, or 8. I don't remember how many. My wife is a real painter. I'm just like I say, I can do mine in 3 hours or 4 hours. You know, it's not. They're basically like the little sketches I used to make, like for, you know, like on a. I used to just do like for autographs. I would do a sketch like if you like Powerhouse, I would draw. I was drawing an amplifier, and then I had some tubes in it, and then I had a band, and then I had like a little stage, and then I had like a guitar player playing guitar, and a bass player, and I had a drummer. I'll show you in a minute. And it's just, but you know, it's just kind of like, and they're playing inside the amp, you know. So it's just kind of like, you know, that's a Marshall amp. It's just kind of like that, you know, like a band's playing inside of an amp, you know. Yeah. And then it'll say like "Never knew the Lord until I found a power chord." It'll say Powerhouse. You know, it's pretty much not dissimilar to this. And then I'll like paint it, and you know, so you know, I enjoy doing it, and it's for fans, people who like. But basically, we do the paintings, but we take them to a really good printer. This really great fine art photographer in Atlanta, and then they make really nice prints, and so we gift them to people, or we donate them, or people can buy them for like $40 or something like that. You know, we sell them at shows, and they're just those little keepsakes, and then I autograph them. You know,
that's a good idea. That's I
did a lot of ideas since the pandemic. You know?
Yeah, I bought so much stuff during the pandemic, man.
Yeah,
I bought a wood burning kit. It's still in the box.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, I'm going to learn how to do this. I never got around to it.
Oh, that's a great. Oh, but I remember the smell of that. That's a good smell.
Yeah, it is.
A very dangerous toy, right up there at Jarts.
Yeah, Jarts.
Who gave your kid a wood burning kit? That thing was so dangerous. And you're just kind of like tracing like an Indian headdress on a wood plank. You're like, look what I made, Mom. She's like, very nice.
Don't touch that cork part.
Yeah.
Well, you got a what would you think would be your most personal song to you that you've written?
Well, I wrote one called Step by Step that's on the last record. That's kind of personal. But I think every song I write is very personal. I mean, every song I write is autobiographical in every way. You know, there's very few that I'm not really connected to. I mean, Straight to Hell is one of those songs I think I really love to sing now. I like With the People is a song I really love. Friend song. This song, Live to Love Beautiful. I like that song. They were a newer one. I'm trying to think of some ones I just wrote one. That I've been working on for like 15 years. It just wasn't right, and I just recorded it with Miles Nielsen and the Rusted Hearts in Lexington, Kentucky, actually. And it's called One by One, and that's one of my favorite ones. It's got a really cool. It's got a cool chorus. I'll play you the chorus. I really like it. It's like it's not copywritten though, so please don't steal it, anybody. But the chorus is one by one, dreams they fall, let themselves like seeds down in the ground. One by one, these dreams they grow into something new. So that's one of my favorites because this part of the Scarred But Smarter, my song Scarred But Smarter is part of that whole circle of it's okay to mess up, it's okay to not be perfect, it's okay to be yourself. And one by one, your dreams, they're gonna fall, but then they like leaves, they fly and fall like leaves, and then the leaves become part of the earth and new things grow and then things fall. It's a whole like the ebb and flow of your life is really the way it's supposed to be, and you can't always be on top. You can't always control it. You can't always make everything perfect, and you can set the scenario, but you have to be prepared for things to change. Like have a year's worth of gigs canceled, have European tours canceled because of the flu. But you know what? You kind of just got to relax and go, well, I'm not the only one that's going through this right now. It's going to be okay. What's the worst can happen? You got your wife or your lover and your for me, I have my animals, and I mean, I don't really need much to survive. I'm pretty lucky. I feel lucky even in times when I was counting the change from the kitchen drawer, still, feel pretty privileged, to be here.
Do you want to play a song?
What's that?
Do you want to play a full song for us, or
do I hear a song?
Yeah,
I'll play you a new song. You want to hear a new song?
Hell yeah!
Okay, I'll play one coming up for my new record. Okay.
Nobody steal it.
I gotta practice it. See ya. That's so weird. Let me think of it. Okay, I think I got it. This world. I got it. try to get the guitar in that picture there. Sorry. This world with its kind and mild embrace, we all just stayed in place. And we thought we got to think in this call to arms again. Stop, look, listen, think. Stop, look, listen, think. Stop, look, listen, think. Think about it. Think about it. There's 10 sides to every game. I just know, pick the wrong one, you've been played. And just now, as I sing my song, engaged, my dreams, my truths may change. Stop, look, listen, think. Stop, look, listen, think. Stop, look, listen, think. Think about it. Think about it. I'm open to more than I could have known. My dreams, my truths explored. I'm beyond a new day rising. I'm awake to a simple truth explored. Stop, look, listen, think. Stop, look, listen, think. Stop, look, listen, think. Think about it. Think about it.
Thank you so much. That was awesome.
Right on.
You got anything you want to add in before we wrap it up? I get out of your hair and quit bugging you all the time. Hey, come on my show.
Hey, Gertie girl. Love your neighbor. Love your friends. Love your mom. Tip your mom. Tip your cow. Remember, life
Tip your
is too
cow.
cheap to drink short wine. Do unto others. Listen to the angel on your shoulder. I think we should let Mr. Rogers have the last word. What do you think?
Go for it.
You've made this day a special day by just your being you.